And we are on. Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports Unhinged. I am Mo, joined by Yujita and Coach. It is our last episode for the regular season. Guys, it's been a heck of a season so far.
Thank God.
Really enjoyed it. Now, unfortunately, we have to start this week on a bit of a sour note. It's a kind of bittersweet kind of thing. Obviously, Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills safety who suffered cardiac arrest in the Bengals game. I think one of the most frightening things I've ever witnessed in sports. The only thing I can compare this to was a year ago in Euro 2021 with Christian Eriksen. In the football, and the Denmark player who kind of suffered a similar incident. Yujita, get us started. I mean, what was your reaction to this? How do you see the NFL handling it so far? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was shocking because I was watching this thing and it didn't really seem like, as all these things do, they don't seem like a big hit or a big thing. And then you see him collapse and it was very shocking. But you know what I got to say is I looked into it and I mean, if there is I don't know if there's a positive take out of it, but apparently there are 29 medical physicians at every game. And there is a medical action plan that gets reviewed weekly, then 90 minutes before. So you got neurologists, EMTs, orthopedics, and even an internal medicine doctor. So, and then you got the trauma level one, whatever, 2 miles away. So I think whatever happened, he had the best possible medical attention at hand quickly, and that saved his life. So I think everybody's thankful for that. And, you know, canceling, I think the game is now canceled officially.
Yes.
So yeah. I think the NFL, as much as we like to talk crap about them, I think they did well to postpone the game, then cancel it. There's no way in hell any of those players could play again. So, and I think the community itself rallied so well. I mean, we talk about our teams, we have smack talks, we put our hatred on each other's teams. But when something like this happens, it's just our love for football and love for the players that takes precedent, and it's amazing. It's like a community, and that's what was really good to see for me. Yeah, prayers to him and his family.
Now, our thoughts and prayers with him for sure. Now, the NFL has decided to cancel this game since it has no impact on who makes it to the playoffs. The AFC Championship game now might be played in a neutral site if the participating teams have played an unequal number of regular season games and both had the chance to get the number one seed. So it's really if Buffalo or Cincinnati qualify as road teams to the championship game. Now, you mentioned that the NFL have handled this really well in terms of canceling the game on the day or postponing the game on the day and then canceling it. But I saw an interesting post that Micah Parsons actually retweeted on his timeline from a podcast in Cleveland. And one topic was raised in that podcast, which was very interesting. And it's about what happens to this young man afterwards, right? Now, obviously, what he has suffered is something that, you know, increases the likelihood of him not playing another down of football again. This is his second year in the NFL. I think he was on an $800,000 contract with a $160,000 bonus. So, Coach, I think my question is, looking at the CBA agreement, the last one, the Players Association made concessions on things like disability checks going forward. So that went down from $22,000 to $4,000. Yeah, I mean, is that something where, yes, we're giving props to the NFL on the way they handled it on the day, but is there still a lot more that needs to be done and a lot more topics that need to be talked about a little bit more when it comes to what happens to the players after incidents like these?
So I think I agree with what you've said, and it did go down, and that's part of the conversations and always a part of negotiations. But there was a force majeure added to the collective bargaining agreement. And so there are a certain amount of, I want to say years, but it might be money based on the number of years that you play in the league or months or games that you play in the league. And then there's also an extenuating expense. So each team, each team, they have the ability to extend that. It's not retirement, but it's support of those players that have this career ending within their first 3 year. Hold on. 1 year, 3 year, 8 year. I read something where I think he's going to be okay if he never plays another down of football. Now, what is okay? I don't know. Right? What is deemed as support? I don't know. I just have a hard time believing that we will read in 10 years, this young man had this life debilitating issue and no one stepped up to him. I just don't see that in 10 years. Now, is it a part of the collective bargain agreement? I think there are small parts of it where he will be supported, his medical expenses up until which is, hold on, let me say this is interesting. If it's not a brain injury, that's what I read. If it's a non-brain injury, which what I read, knee injury or muscle injury, or as we said in this point, cardiac arrest injury, he is supported through like 8 years to make him vested in the NFL. But if it's a brain injury, then it goes into the brain injury group, which I find, first of all, that's crap. An injury is an injury. But anyway, I think he's okay. In terms of the rest of his life, the rest of his family's life. Is he going to be able to play football again? My God, I hope so. Right?
I hope so too.
But at the same time, I very much value the aspect of life. And let's don't play this game, right? Let's just celebrate. He's still alive. Let's figure out what do we do next week. And off we go. So we'll see. I think in the big term of what was it, 1978 is the last time this has happened to an NFL player. And so let's also don't jump the gun and overreact, whether that's fans or, God bless us, Twitter or social media. Let's really take all of the facts, let's take all of the data, and let's make a decision.
Yeah, and I think the reactions to this incident kind of showed a few of those in the NFL media. It kind of showed their true colors in a bit, and I'm sure you guys saw the tense opening of that episode of Undisputed between Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, and it really showed the contrast there of how people view this and who values the players more versus the game, right? And at the end of the day, like Yujita said, once the incident happened, all rivalries was set aside. Everybody was there in prayer. And they rallied around Damar Hamlin. So hope we hear more good news.
This was supposed to be one of the games of the season, and I don't think anyone talked about seeding or who's going to make 7th seed till about maybe a day or ago. I don't. At least I didn't think about it.
Right. Now it makes the number 1 seed in the AFC and who gets home field advantage a bit more complicated. I thought we could go through it in this episode, but I think it's probably easier for us to do it next week after all the games have been done, and it's less possibilities and less variations there. But at least we've summarized that, the AFC Championship game could be played in a neutral area if Buffalo or Cincinnati qualify as road teams over there. Okay, but now what we can talk about is the other seedings in the playoff and the playoff implications. And I want to start with the AFC South. The Jaguars versus the Titans for all the marbles. Obviously, there are a lot of other variations for the 7th seed, but in terms of winning the AFC South, Yujita, you'll notice that I'm not going to come to you in a lot of these questions here because we will be talking about them in the pick 6, so we don't want to give away what our game plans here. But Coach, in terms of the Jags and the Titans, what are the odds of it reaching, 2 division teams playing each other for a playoff spot? What are your kind of preview thoughts on this game?
Well, I think kudos to the schedule makers, right? So if you break them down, you look at it, who's playing who has the opportunity to make big differences. Well done for them. Who had any idea that Jacksonville had that opportunity back in August? We certainly didn't pick them. I certainly didn't pick them. I didn't pick them in even week 12 or 13, right?
Lost to Denver in London.
Yeah, maybe a little flash in the pan, good coaching, really kind of on the upswing, but definitely not playoff oriented. Playoffs? So
Jags?
I like it that it's all the marbles. Can you also give some credit to Tennessee and that coach? They've really done a good job with, my goodness, their general manager got fired of not providing opportunities for putting players where they needed players. So they traded away their best wide receiver. They had no real backup other than a rookie of their quarterback. Now, you can say what you want to say about the quarterback, but he is consistent.
Yeah.
Where he's good, he's good. Where he's not, he's consistently not. They got the best running back in football. They have the best running offensive line in football. So give a little bit of shout out to that coach. I love it, man. All the marbles. Let's play. Let's rock and roll. I think that happened last week. Who was that? Tampa and Carolina. Oh, wait, we won't talk about that. But
no, that's not on this pod.
It's not on the agenda today. I think
I like it for all the marbles. I've had the opportunity to coach in a few of those seasons where we were predicted first or second, and our rival was predicted first or second. And the last game of the year, as it always said, we got to play for all the marbles. First place, you get the bye, which back in Texas high school playoffs, you got that if you won. It's awesome. It's awesome in the week. It's awesome for your players to go through it. The conversations, the coach speak, the seriousness, right? It's just it's an awesome opportunity for them. I'm a little worried for Tennessee. I got to be honest. I don't think Malik Willis is playing as Pickens to whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah,
Pickens. There it is. Picker to Pickens, whatever.
George Pickens.
Yeah. So I just wonder. I'm a little worried for them. I do like Jacksonville. I like them on the upswing. I really like their coach, as I said last week.
All right, now there are three other teams vying for the 7th seed, all with an 8-8 record, so all on the line. And of course, the New England Patriots are in that mix. Bill Belichick, somehow, some way, they're there, and they're in the driving seat of this one. I mean, they clinch with the win at Buffalo, or if Miami and Pittsburgh lose and the Jacksonville Jaguars win. Now, the Dolphins need to beat the Jets, which, I mean, the baby Jets looked as hot as anybody a few weeks ago when we were talking about them, probably almost as a sure thing for the playoffs. They're out of contention now. So the Dolphins get through with the Patriots loss. The Steelers, 8-8, and their head coach Tomlin's winning record could still be alive after this week as well. They clinch with a win against the Browns and a Miami and a New England loss. And there is one extreme possibility here where
mental math is killing me.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to put a graphic on that on the screen. But there is a possibility that the Jags could still lose and go through with Tennessee if Miami, the Patriots, and the Steelers all lose their games as well. So we could still see two teams from the AFC South, which I would have bet on as
done with the AFC South. We want to be done with the AFC South.
Exactly. So all of that is there now, Coach. In terms of who do you think will get through here? Obviously, the Patriots are more in control, but they'll have to beat a Buffalo team, which might not be mentally all there after the incident. If you had to pick between the Pats, the Dolphins, and the Steelers, who would you go for?
Well, first of all, there's so much to happen for the Steelers and the Dolphins to get in. My money would be on New England, right? One game, you win, you're in. He is the most accomplished current head coach in football, maybe tied with Tomlin, if we're being honest. So I like that. But if you're asking me who do I not want to play in the first round, as we've said before, I don't want to play San Diego, and right now I might not want to play Pittsburgh. The rookie's playing pretty well. Their defense is playing unbelievably well. So if I had to pick for just a simple statistical analysis of the pick, I'll take New England because I don't think Buffalo will come in all guns a-blazing. I think they will play who they need to play when they need to play. I don't think their emotions will necessarily be super high, or they'll be so high it'll be a negative. So I'll take New England if you make me make a pick.
Now, Eugita, the New England game is not part of our pick six today, so I'll direct the question at you today, just in terms of, do you think New England goes through, or is there another possibility there?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's tough to say with what kind of Buffalo team takes that field. I mean, either they're mentally still not there, or they want to prove a point, or they want to get back in the fray for Damar and his family. You know, I mean, this is where on the day we'll kind of decide, because we know New England's, they're defensively, they're good, but on offense, we still know there's nothing there. And Buffalo is kind of, you know, on all cylinders at the moment. So, look, I agree with Coach. I mean, I think New England is going to kind of sneak into that playoff, maybe. But I also have a sneaky feeling that somehow Mike Tomlin's ugly magic works. And guess what? Pittsburgh is now in the playoffs. Miami's too injured and too wavered at the moment to do anything.
Yeah, I think Miami and the Jets are probably the two biggest disappointments of the regular season so far in the AFC. Now, moving over to the NFC, and Eugita, your Eagles seem like they seem to be in the driver's seat. Sure thing for the number one seed there, but there is a possibility of them losing that if they lose against New York Giants team. A New York Giants team.
It's a week 18 flu, y'all.
It's the week 18 flu. Now, so a Giants team that punched their ticket to the playoffs last week, along with the Bucks. So San Francisco could actually steal that number one seed if they win their game against Arizona and you lose your game against the Giants. There is an unlikely scenario that if both the Eagles and San Francisco lose and the Cowboys win, that the Cowboys become the number one seed and everybody
win the division.
And win the division. And that would be a bigger slap on the face than anything else. So
exactly, forget first seed.
How do you like your chances here? Talk us through your thoughts going into week 18.
I think I like it. First of all, because Giants could not, be playing some starters because they're already through. That's one thing to look at. Jalen Hurts has been practicing hard. He'll come in. So I think the Eagles will go all out regardless of what the Giants bring on the field, because they've got to prove points on defense. They got to prove that Jalen Hurts is still on. And I think they'll go all the way because you get the first seed, you get a bye, so you have a rest there as well. So I think if we're probably 2 or 3 scores up ahead in the second half, third quarter, I think they'll rest starters. But I am very, very keen to see what Jonathan Gannon has done with the defense, because the last few weeks, I mean, it's tough to watch against the Saints. Soft corners, there's no press going on, 5-man fronts when it's not working out. So. I just want to see that defense come out, play their best, no matter what's happening in that game, whether we're winning by 30, 40 points, whatever. So, I think we'll still make the first seed, and then we do not want Dallas to win the division, so they'll go all out. I think the Eagles will go all out to prove a point here.
Coach, what are your expectations?
Well, I think the Eagles have probably gotten lucky. I think the Giants will rest quite a bit of players. What I read on their offensive line, they have 2 questionables and 1 doubtful. I think all 3 of them will not play for the Giants. So I think that's probably positive. However, I think it's in the best interest of Philly to play all their starters with their starting quarterback on offense. Defense, maybe not so much. Just in case, even if they get the bye, just getting him outside of his rust, not in the first game in the playoffs.
Right.
I agree. Good Lord. I agree with Eugita. I think Philly will win. I think they'll be the first seed.
Fly.
but what I'm worried about is if they don't play Hurts, or they recognize that they don't need him, how rusty will he be even after a week off in the bye? And I think that could harm them or hurt them. I hope for a doomsday scenario, not because I'm a Dallas fan, because everyone knows I'm not, even though I'm married to one.
Yeah.
I just like to see those kind of things in football, and who thinks and what about and can we. First of all, just to make Skip Bayless go, oh, the Cowboys, or what's the
Right.
guy on ESPN? I can't think of him.
Shannon.
Smokes a cigar and
Yeah.
has his hat on. And how about them Cowboys? So I think Philly, I think they're comfortable. I think they're okay, but I think Hurts needs some game time.
I agree.
Look, the way he's been practicing hard, he definitely wants to play, and I think they will play him.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think the odds are that he starts the game, and the playoffs really start today on the day for the Eagles. Now, on the 7th seed, there are 3 teams that are vying for that position. And in the driver's seat is Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay Packers. He did say that there's a path for them to reach the playoffs. We all but ruled him out. And yet here they are. They win against Detroit. And it's against Detroit, another great story for the season. A team that started terribly and then they got hot. And it's for all the marbles again. Now, Detroit need a win, and they need Seattle to lose to the Rams to get through. So it's not as straightforward as it is for the Detroit team. Seattle obviously need to win and hope that Green Bay loses. But it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers in a do-or-die scenario. Coach, what do you think happens here?
I found it interesting. There was I was watching, I think because no one talked on Tuesday because of obviously the injury from Monday night.
Yeah.
A reporter asked Aaron Rodgers, and it wasn't reported. I just happened to be watching the recording because I'm silly like that as a former coach. And he asked him, he said, listen, it's obvious you're starting to gel with your wide receivers, and you guys are starting to get into the timing. Would you agree with that? And he said, yes, I think we put in the work. We've done this, we've done that. And then he said, if you had attended the mini camps and the preseason camps, do you think that you wouldn't have to be worrying about when to get in?
Right.
And he just bristled, and he just went, next question. Just skipped it.
Wow.
Right? So I just wonder if there are parts of him that it's all about me. That's how I perceive him. Maybe that's shame on me, coach.
Right.
I would love for Detroit to get in.
And I think they'll do well in the playoffs. I think they have a chance
if I really look at in all the history of the Rams in Seattle, the Rams always play them tough. Even way back in the Jeff Fisher days when Seattle was playing very well and they had the beast mode, the Rams always played them tough and always split with them in the season. I wonder if that doesn't happen. I would love for Detroit to get in. However, if you ask me to bet money, I'm going to put my money to win the game, not cover, to win the game on Aaron Rodgers.
On Aaron Rodgers. All right. I don't think there's much more that we could say or debate without getting into the Pick Six segment, right? So I'm going to shift to that now, and maybe we can have more debates on that. Insane what happened. I was in a comfortable lead, 3 points at the end of last week.
Comfortable lead.
And you guys know the rules here. It's 3 games every week. We pick against the spread, against the over-under. Me versus Yujita for the season. 1 point for every correct pick and 2 points if we beat coach. The loser, we said this year after the regular season, would have to sit in a fast food restaurant, most likely McDonald's, for 10 hours, and you eat a burger to deduct an hour out of your time before you are released.
Hold on, most likely McDonald's or McDonald's?
Yeah, we'll make it McDonald's.
I thought we were.
Let's
I thought
do
it was
McDonald's.
done.
Yeah,
and,
it is McDonald's.
And that you got the sponsorship and everything.
And everything, right? So looking at the scores last week, I was ahead by 3 points. Coach, 2 out of 6. You gave so many beat the expert opportunities, and Yujita took full advantage of that. 3 beat the expert picks for Yujita. He won 7 and 4 on the week. And unbelievable, going into the final week of the season, it is all square at 65 points each. So it's going to come down to this week and the picks that we make to decide who wins the season. Yujita, I mean, it's a hard fought season so far, and I look forward to beating you in this last week of the season.
Keep looking, baby.
Keep looking. All right. So, Coach, we're gonna do it a bit differently this time. Instead of 3 games, we're gonna do 4, and we're going to include the Chicago game there in honor of our late friend Mark Sherman. I think he would chuckle to see that we are tussling all the way to the end of the season here. So let's take it away with the first game. It's the one that we've talked about, the AFC South for the championship, or for the division championship here. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Coach, give us the odds here.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars are -6.5 favorites. My goodness, almost a touchdown. And the over-under is 40. Mohammed, take us away.
I really thought hard about this one. All right. So for me, the Jags are going to win this game, right? I know that. I picked them. They're the hotter team. I like the coach, like you said. They're the team that's, yeah, Tennessee have been good, but I just like the Jags. I like Peterson. So I was just struggling on that spread and that over-under. And by the way, the over-unders are as important because that's where Yujita kind of hurt me last week as well. I'm going for a low-scoring game. I think the tensions will be high. So I'm going for a 17-15 score to Jacksonville. So Jacksonville wins the game, but Tennessee covers the 6.5, and I roll with the under. Yujita.
17-15.
Yes.
Wow. So guess what, folks? I think we have a winner end of next week. Cause here we go.
Here we go. Take it away.
Here we go. All right. This is 2 teams that are trending opposite direction. Jags are 5-1 in the last 6 weeks. Like Coach said, man, it's coaching. It's Lawrence turning a leaf after that Denver game. Etienne, all these guys are doing well. Tennessee injured, so I don't see them making any headway. Who's their quarterback for this week? Josh Dobbs? No, I think it's Josh Dobbs.
Oh, Dobbs is going to start. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So he's going to try and game manage this thing. It's not going to work. So I'm also going to go with the Jags win, but definitely not Tennessee to cover. Look, I don't think any other team that has a chance wants to go down the tunnel and go home more than the Tennessee Titans. They're too injured and stuff. So I think it's going to be over as well. I think they scored 56 points the last time they met. So I'm still going to go slightly over. It's like by a point, but still over. Jags to cover 24-17.
Wow. All right. Opposite picks here, Coach.
We have a winner. We already have a winner. We don't
You're
know.
being the expert.
All right,
picks are going to make a lot of
I'm going to
difference
go
here.
for a tie and exactly 40. That's what I'm going to say. No, I think I really want to go with coaching in these situations, right? For all the marbles, because I think players play, talent comes up, but when the coaching really gets in, it's why I think Pittsburgh has won 5 out of the last 6, right? I think really coaching gets into that. So if I look at this, I believe that Jacksonville will win the game. I believe that Tennessee will keep it close. So I'm going to go the Titans to cover the 6.5. However, I like the over.
All right. Okay.
You see, he keeps playing us all
season. He take it away,
Yeah, keep playing us.
If you look at the Titans' last 4 games that went over, it all happened in the last 2 minutes, right? Well, this one's for all the marbles. So when it's for all the marbles, those last 2-3 minutes, they generally, I don't want to say play well, but they play good enough to score points. If that's 3 or 6 or 7, even in overtime. So I'll take the over 40, but I think the Titans will cover the 6.5.
All right.
Now we're going to have fun. This one's fun.
Yujita, you good? Shall we go to game number 2?
I'm good. I just took a quick break.
All right. Let's go for game number 2. Detroit. I mean, you need
a break. I can't take it.
Tense, right? All right. Game number 2.
Coach has been saying marbles a lot, so getting hot up in here.
More marbles on the line in game number 2 is the Detroit Lions.
Just don't play with the marbles in your pocket, though. Let's go.
Don't touch the samosas, whatever you do. Leave the samosas alone.
Very ethnic of you. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we're going to the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Another one that has a lot on the line. Coach, what are the odds for this one?
I have no idea. Sorry. Green Bay, oh my goodness, is favored. First time they've been favored in 5 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. They are favored by 4.5 points, which is an odd number in Vegas, especially going into playoffs.
Right, it's not a field goal, it's not a touchdown, it's somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
It is an odd number, and the over under 49.
49.
Ujitha, talk to me.
Matt, I'm gonna ride this Aaron Rodgers bandwagon another week.
Yeah, Darla loves you today. That's what we're gonna say.
Everybody loves me. I told you guys they're gonna put one on Minnesota and keep us at that seed 1 going, and they did.
You did.
They did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. And listen, these guys have come. What, they were 4-8. Now they're in 8-8, going into the play. It's dangerous, right? It's dangerous. People like Brady and Rodgers getting into the playoffs, and I think they're gonna ride it more. I love Detroit. The fact that they're even capable of going. I want them to go on, but I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna go out very heavy pass game. So I think the score is going to be over. So, Christian Watson's going to have a day, Goff will have a day passing. So it's going to be probably about a 50 game. I'm actually going to go 30-22 Packers cover and the over.
Wow. Okay. Now, I thought about this one a lot as well. I think Dan Campbell has done an incredible job with the Lions. Regardless of whether they win or lose this one, I don't think he has to worry about his job. They're building something that I think for the future will be great. But I have to agree with you there, Ujita. I think you don't bet against the greats. And Aaron Rodgers has been on a tear. Again, when you put them in these situations, win or go home, I have to go with Aaron Rodgers. I did not expect to be saying this if you asked me 4 or 5 weeks ago. But here we are. They've turned it around. He said that there's a path for them to the playoffs. I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Detroit show us some of that, best offense in the NFL vibe that they had at the beginning of the season. So I have it going 36-28 Green Bay, exactly same as your pick. Green Bay and the over. Inconsequential to the overall score between you and me, but let's see if we can get the better of coach on this one.
Interesting. 5 out of the last 6 games, the Green Bay defense is number 1 in the NFL.
Wow. So it's not just the offense, it's the defense as well.
Oh, yeah. Their defense
5 out of the last 6 games, scoring all of the above. They are the number 1 defense. There was one hiccup they had. We won't talk about that. So 5 out of the last 6.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that and go the under. All right.
Okay.
Now, the 4.5 is what really, I'm not sure, right? I don't know what combination of points that just really works into that. There's an interesting stat, or not a stat, but a player prop bet on over-under of drop passes by the Green Bay receivers.
Okay.
And it's 5. And so I think they will be, it's 4.5. I think there will be more than that, and I think they will be at opportune times. And so I think that will drive that AR guy completely nuts. And I think it will happen early. So I'll take Detroit. I'll take them to win outright and cover.
Wow.
But I like the other just because how good Green Bay's defense is playing.
So that's a bit of a U-turn of what you said earlier in the episode, going with Aaron Rodgers, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We're holding. Yeah, holding our marbles. Let's go.
All right. Game number 3, the New York Giants at the Miami Dolphins. The New York Jets, apologies, at the Miami Dolphins. Coach.
Miami, with a 3rd-string quarterback, mind you, as we understand it, are still favored -2 over under 38.5. Now, what I'm wondering is their 3rd-string quarterback equivalent to the Jets starter? Who knows?
Yeah, I think with this one, the Jets are a little bit sore. from what they had throughout the season and not being able to make it over the hurdle for the playoffs. Miami starting with the third string quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, out with I don't know, it was a thumb injury or something like that. Obviously, Tua's out in concussion. I don't even see this being a close game at all. I see the Jets really kicking in all cylinders, and I expect a complete collapse by the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's been coming for quite a few weeks, so I'm going for a 31-6 score to the Jets. So I have the Jets easily winning outright, covering the spread, and it's still under by about 1.5 because I just don't see Miami with a third string quarterback getting anywhere. Yujita.
Yeah, we definitely have a winner because I'm gonna go with Miami because Skylar Thompson, he's a good pocket passer. We've seen him a little bit. Despite all the injuries that Miami have, they're a -2 favorite. There is something going on. There is. And the Jets, they're not great at defending the run. Their secondary's all right, and they don't have a running game. So I think Mostert is going to have a big game here, and they are going to win it. They're going to get into the playoffs somehow. It's either them or Pittsburgh, I think, if they have to lose. But Miami wins and covers, and I think I'll go over 24-20.
Ooh, the opposite pick there. Coach, give me some double points.
Have a winner.
So obviously Vegas knows something that we don't, and I think they know that even as bad as your quarterback is, just throw it to that Waddle guy and throw it to that Hill guy and throw it to that Gesicki guy, and then Mostert on a few screens, and you can't lose too bad, right? So I like Miami to win and cover, but I really just like the under in this game. I don't know why. I don't think the Jets are very good offensively. I don't think the Dolphins will blow it out of the water. So I'll take Miami to cover, but I like the under 38.5.
All right. So you're giving each one of us an opportunity there. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at my notes.
So we got the first game.
No. I can get in this one. I can get one double points, and you can get one. So it depends.
All right, enough with the maths on a Friday. All right, let's go.
The fourth game.
Yes.
Minnesota at Chicago.
Yes.
Usually a tiebreaker. We clearly don't need it, but we're gonna use it, and it's gonna count towards. We're gonna play it, and it's gonna count towards the final scores. Coach, give us the odds for this one.
So first of all, our old friend Mark, he would be dying because Minnesota and no respect, and Minnesota's terrible, and 1 point and 3 points and 5 points, and then all of a sudden they play my Bears and they are -7.5. We finally give them respect against my Bears. So Minnesota -7.5, an odd number 43. That's really kind of an odd number, with Minnesota expecting to rest quite a few starters in this one.
All right, Yujita, get us started.
Yujita, share with us. Go ahead.
All right, here's the problem. You want Chicago to cover this, but the only way Minnesota loses is big. The 4 games they've lost is by 2 scores, 3 scores, and I don't see Chicago without Fields, by the way, who's not playing. Without Fields, I don't see them, winning this and so if it's a close game, we know Minnesota is going to come out and win. So I think, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Mark, Minnesota is still going to do it. I think 43 was the over/under, was it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'll keep it under, actually, at 27-12.
Oh,
27-12. Okay.
Well.
All right. I'm going to roll with my man, Mark Sherman here. They're not going to win the game, but they can at least cover.
Baby. Roll them up.
They can at least cover, right? So I think Minnesota rests a lot of players as well. Chicago, obviously, without the starting quarterback. Low-scoring game, so I agree with you, Yujita. There's going to be the under. I'm going for
they don't necessarily have, because they're still fighting for second seed. So they need to go out and win this.
They'll win it, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So it's
week 18 and all the marbles. We don't know what'll happen.
Yeah,
there's his marbles.
These marbles will stay where they are. Worst case scenario, they end up with a third seed, whatever, right? So I'm going 16 to 10.
Where?
Minnesota, 16 to 10. So Chicago covers the 7.5 points. It stays under. We've got so many opposing picks, Yajita. This is going to be one of us has gotten this completely wrong. Like, I don't know who it is, but it's not going to be close.
Or one of us really likes McDonald's.
Oh, one of us really likes McDonald's. All right, coach, let's do it.
We may have to watch the recording of this 2 or 3 times just to make sure we get all the picks right.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like Minnesota in this game. I think now I will say, had Justin Jefferson gotten 10 catches for 120 last week, I think they would have pushed him to break Megatron's record this week with a couple of touchdowns. I think they'll play their starters the first quarter and sit. So that's why I think it'll go under. I'm struggling with this 7.5, right? I can see this very much being like a 17-10 or a 24-17 game. So I'll go the under 43, but I think the Bears cover this 7.5. Sorry,
we're wrong on this one. You need to get the double points, and I really hope it doesn't come down to this one. I really
this is all going to be really
right
complicated.
Now, gentlemen, I would love a tie. I would love you guys to
Can you imagine
both
that?
Both of you have to go to McDonald's and sit for 8 hours.
Nah, hey, we didn't agree to that.
I watch on YouTube.
All right, okay, all right. Here's the deal. If we tie, Coach goes to McDonald's.
Oh, I
That's
love
a good
it.
deal.
Oh,
That's a good deal.
Yes,
take it. Take it.
No.
Yeah. You can't get better than this. 18 weeks we tie because of you and your damn
That's
picks.
fine. If you guys tie, I'll go.
All right.
We said it.
We
It's
got
on
it.
the record.
We got it. It's on the record.
Josiah will eat the cheeseburgers.
And don't bring that poor guy into everything. Come on now.
All right. Now, in the playoffs, we've got a few people that would like to join the podcast as guests.
Want them.
Right?
Yes.
So I know you've got your statistician coach that you want to bring onto the podcast.
Got to bring the musicians.
I've got my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law, a Kansas City and a Cincinnati Bengals fans who want to weigh in on that as well.
Yeah.
So if they go up against each other, we might have them come in here and also tussle it out. So we've got a few guests lined up for you guys in the playoffs. But what an amazing regular season this has been.
Hey, and if Green Bay does get in finally,
Darla, we got to bring Darla back.
Gotta have Darla. Hey, listen, if Philly gets in, oh wait, are they getting in? If they're the first seed, maybe we bring Tom in. If New England gets in, we got to bring that New England guy. Yeah, we're gonna have a good playoffs.
Good playoff season full of guests as well, different insights here. But guys, I want to thank you for an amazing regular season. This has been a lot of fun going through.
Thank you very much.
Week by week, and can't wait to see you guys next week to see the results of the Pick Six. And maybe after that, we can relax and stop the competing and just talk about the playoffs and worry about our teams. Oh, no, hold on.
It's been very stressful.
Our teams, hold on. Our teams?
Yeah, you mean, my team.
Your team.
Root for my team.
So I cannot wait next week if for some reason you end up the 4 seed. I can't wait for the podcast.
With Dallas. With Dallas as the number 1 seed. Oh.
It's still the playoffs.
Still the playoffs.
And you have to play Tom, F, and Brady.
Don't matter. Ain't a thing.
Yeah, it's easy when you know you're in the playoffs anyways, right?
Exactly,
4 or 5. Had you 4 or 5? Do I have that
4 or 5, yeah. 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
4 or 5, yeah. Yep.
All right.
Can't wait. Well, look at replay of last year's wild card. Yeah, we like a rematch.
Just quickly, Mohammed, who's going to be your coach?
See, again, last week we got knocked out because we moved away from the run game. To go into the fourth quarter, 21-10. What is it? 21-10. Yeah.
21-10.
Yeah. And at one point we were 14-0 ahead.
I said it in the chat. I'm like, what are they doing?
We saw them live.
I identified, the weakness that we had with JC Horn being out, and Tom Brady found Mike Evans again. He hasn't found him since week 4, and all of a sudden,
and again.
3 times,
again.
just over the top,
The-
outside. It was just.
There
it
was no
brutal.
aging. There was no aging last week.
Yeah.
Who's your
I mean,
coach? Who's
Having
coming
said
up?
that,
Tell me.
I think Steve Wilkes has done an incredible job bringing this team back. We should
He
have
won't be
been
the coach.
we should have been the Texans this year, but we weren't. We had a chance at the playoffs. Sorry, coach, I had to throw that in there.
Coach's forehead erected for a bit.
Having said that, I know that we have started speaking to Jim Harbaugh, right?
So
That's a possibility there. We've got that ex-Saints coach who's doing really well
Who's that guy?
in the TV booth and the analysis, right? He would be a good one. He'll be a bit more expensive. It would be nice to see Steve Wilkes get it. It's nice. It will be like a feel-good story. But honestly, we need a proper head coach and we need a quarterback. We need to sort these two out. And maybe
Did you not say D'Amico Ryans was in the fray?
D'Amico Ryans is also there in the mix as well. Jim Harbaugh, I don't know. I read that that's a possibility there. Him and Tepper having a chat. And
Ryans is possibly the best DC right now, but what you guys need is a
we need an
QB
offensive.
whispering.
Yeah,
We need a QB whispering offense.
Yeah, we need an
you just
offensive
need a
coach.
QB,
Yeah,
and then maybe a solid, experienced coach with an up and coming offense coordinator.
yeah. So, coach, you shook your head. You said not Steve Wilkes. Who in your mind you think gets there?
I think they'll hire an experienced coach. I don't think they'll hire a first one.
Yeah.
I read an article about the enemy coming there because he can bring a quarterback. Now, I don't know exactly what that meant. They mentioned 4 or 5 quarterbacks. They mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way. So I just wonder about that. I like Steve Wilkes. I just don't think he'll get the job as much as I'd like for him to. I read another article where Paul Hackett, the former Denver guy, who, again, this is a way out there, far out there. If he comes, there's an opportunity to bring the guy from Green Bay as your quarterback.
Oh, that would be, yeah. I'd have to change a lot of my negative perceptions on the guy from Green Bay if that happens.
Here's what I think about quarterbacks. You can be average, and if you put players around them and or an offensive line, you will win in the NFL.
You know, the blessing in disguise for me of not reaching the playoffs this year is that had we reached the playoffs, they might have given Sam Darnold another year on account that he got us there. And I don't think that would have been good for us at all. So maybe it's time for Tepper, who's a very competitive guy. He wants to win. This is not just a side project for him. Maybe this is, in the long run, a good thing for us. Let's see. But we did hurt our draft capital quite a bit.
I have to be honest. If I'm betting money, I'll put my money on Sean Payton in Carolina.
I really hope so. We need someone like that.
Huge for next year. Yeah.
Huge. Because I think that owner's willing to spend money. I think he'll give Payton the keys to the store. And I think Payton can recruit a quarterback to come in there for a couple of years.
Agreed.
Where D'Amico Ryans or Paul Hackett, they might not can. This guy can.
Yeah. All right.
That's where my money's at. Off we go.
And that's the last time we will talk about the Panthers for the rest of the season. All right.
Hey, I'm for that.
Thank you very much.
No more Houston Texans talk. No more Texans.
And no Texans.
No more Eagles. Yeah, no more Eagles either. We don't have to talk about the Eagles.
No, very soon. I think one more week and then that's it.
Yeah. For the bye week, we don't have to talk.
For the bye week. They're going to be the number 5 seed. It's coming.
The number 5 seed with Dallas is number 1. Here we go.
Yeah, such haters. Such haters. Oh,
all right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Click, subscribe. Off we go.
What coach?
See you guys.
See you guys.